All content in this video, including but not limited to text, graphics, images, audio, and video, is the property of Toward Health and is protected by international copyright laws. Unauthorized distribution, reproduction, modification, or use of this content without prior written permission from Toward Health is strictly prohibited. For permissions, please contact us at contact@drtro.com.
Hi, my name is Amy Eiges, and I'm a health coach and the program director for Toward Health. But well before that, I was and am a reformed chronic dieter who is passionate about helping others recover from the diet, binge, gain, shame cycle I struggled with for decades. What started as a 2-week low-carb challenge to avoid bariatric surgery ended up saving my life. Over the last 9 years, I've lost 220 pounds, reversed prediabetes, and resolved lifelong depression. When I was just starting out, facing that much weight to lose seemed insurmountable, and the idea I would ever be where I am now was inconceivable. But I am not extraordinary. I just finally got the right advice, put one foot in front of the other, and didn't look back. I know now that it can be done, but after battling this war for almost 50 years, I had lost hope that it was truly possible. I am living proof that it is. But in my lifetime, I visited hundreds of experts who never offered me much more than eat less, move more, which only ever set me up for failure. Because I never learned how to survive holidays, vacations, stressful events, real life. And I never learned how the food I was eating impacted the food I would want to eat, something that has been so critically important to my current success. The purpose of this presentation is to educate in terms of what you're up against when you head into the supermarket by offering insight into what to look for in the foods you eat in order to give yourself the best possible health outcomes. You'll learn how to read nutrition labels and the ingredients to look out for on these labels and understand the importance of the quality of the foods and the ingredients you're eating to your lifestyle goals, weight management, hunger, and cravings. We know that blood sugar fluctuations impact hunger and cravings, so it's helpful to be on the lookout for the various ingredients to avoid those drastic fluctuations. And if you're wearing a CGM and have been surprised by significant spikes after eating foods you thought were healthy and thought were safe, thought were low carb, this presentation will give you insight into what to look for to avoid those massive blood sugar variabilities. Hidden sugars and how to read nutrition labels. The food manufacturers are smart. Everyone knows and acknowledges that sugar is not good for us, so the food manufacturers have gotten much smarter about hiding it in plain sight. Instead of putting actual sugar on their ingredient labels, manufacturers have come up with other ingredient names to hide what is really going on under the surface. Consider the CGM like a lie detector test. It knows all. Sugar by any other name will still spike your CGM. Here's a list of hidden sugars that you can find in our app, and I will show you in a little bit where to find this. I'm not going to read this whole list, but I've highlighted a couple that are bolded here that are most frequently seen and very common on many, many labels. Brown rice or brown rice flour, brown rice starch, brown rice sugar, corn flour, sugar, starch, syrup, corn soluble fiber, dextrose, fructose, fruit juice or fruit concentrate or fruit juice concentrate, maltitol, and we're going to go into a little bit about maltitol and maltodextrin, molasses, nectar, oat flour, oat starch, pea protein, pea flour, pea starch, potato flour, potato starch, rice flour, rice starch, rice syrup, tapioca flour, tapioca starch, and wheat in any form, and wheat gluten. And then if you want to find this in our app, the Toward Health app, take a screenshot of this and you'll be able to find it if you have premium access. It's in the articles weight loss section in folder number 10. One of the most common questions and mistakes we hear from those on a low carb journey is how to differentiate between the many sugar substitutes available on the market. There's a great deal of confusion about which sweetener options are best and which ones are just sugar in disguise. A little bit of background. To understand why some sweeteners are better than others on a low-carb diet, it's important to talk about glycemic index. This is a system for ranking how quickly and the degree to which blood glucose levels are impacted by foods after being eaten. Foods with a high glycemic index will cause massive blood sugar changes, and those with a low index will cause less dynamic changes. Those looking to keep their blood sugar levels low or avoid those dramatic fluctuations would typically look for lower GI foods. So a quick look at this glycemic index chart of some of the more commonly used sweeteners and sugars shows which ones to avoid, but often in real life it's not that simple. It's fairly straightforward to see based on GI. The first 6 items on this list are best to avoid. Maltodextrin, dextrose, sucrose, actual table sugar, maple syrup, and honey and maltitol are all highest on the glycemic index chart. These will create big blood glucose fluctuations and with it increased hunger and cravings. But maltodextrin is not considered an actual sugar. It is a carbohydrate made from corn, wheat, potato, rice, or tapioca that's processed by cooking the starch and breaking it down with acids or enzymes. And it's used as a sweetener and thickener in many processed foods. Because it's considered a sugar substitute and not sugar, package labels with maltodextrin will often say no added sugar across the front, but it has a higher GI value than actual table sugar. Maltitol falls into the category of sugar alcohols, not sugar. So again, food manufacturers can boast on their package that there is no added sugar to a food that contains lots of maltitol, but that does not mean it doesn't cause adverse health effects. More on both of those later. Lower on that glycemic index chart, you'll find a number of sugar alcohols. What exactly are sugar alcohols? Sugar alcohols are used as a sweet replacement because in general they have limited impact on our blood sugar. There are some exceptions to this. Maltitol, as we discussed, has a higher glycemic index than many sugar replacements or alcohols and can cause blood sugar spikes. Sugar alcohols occur naturally in some plant products like fruits and berries. As a sugar substitute, they provide fewer calories and about half to 1/3 less calories than regular sugar. Other low GI sugar substitutes like erythritol are also sugar alcohols. These are usually derived from plant sources like fruits and berries and are converted to glucose slowly by the body, so they generally do not need the body to release insulin to be metabolized. This means they will have very little impact on blood sugar. Food manufacturers also use sugar alcohols because they act as a bulking agent in a similar fashion to sugar, but with about 1/3 less calories. The one drawback is that sugar alcohols can also lead to some gastric issues, so it is best to try them in small amounts before adding them into your diet in any quantity. Monk fruit and the sugar alcohol erythritol are often combined because together they give the most sugar-like feel and taste. Monk fruit is not a sugar alcohol but has been used for over 1,000 years and comes from a small fruit that is part of the gourd family. It's native to China and was once nicknamed monk fruit after the group of monks who discovered the sweet properties of the plant. Monk fruit has a negligible impact on blood sugar. As mentioned, sugar alcohols tend to be converted to glucose more slowly in the body, so generally require little or no insulin to be metabolized and don't cause sudden increases in blood sugar. Common sugar alcohols are erythritol, sorbitol, maltitol, and xylitol. Food products labeled sugar-free, including hard candies, cookies, chewing gum, soft drinks, and cough drops, often contain sugar alcohols. They're frequently used in toothpaste and mouthwash as well. Also, always remember that individual mileage may vary, and to view yourself as a science experiment. If you notice your CGM spikes, or you have cravings or a stomach ache every time you eat sweeteners, use that information to help inform your future decisions. If eating something sweetened with sugar alcohols or monk fruit is going to give you cravings, but keep you on your low-carb path, then it should be viewed as a big win. And as mentioned, some of these sweeteners can bring extreme gastrointestinal issues when consumed in both large and small quantities. After eating the sugar alcohol maltitol, many experience stomach aches, gas, diarrhea, and bloating, so proceed with caution. Rule of thumb with all sweeteners, either artificial or sugar alcohols, context is everything. Remember what they are replacing and decide what is the best you can do in any given circumstance. If weight loss is your primary focus, then the use of these products may impact your goals because all sweeteners, no matter how much they affect or don't affect your blood sugar, can lead to cravings and stoke the desire to overconsume them. If you find yourself regularly overeating low-carb sweets, it is a good idea to reevaluate your relationship with them and decide if it might be necessary to eliminate them temporarily or long-term. Reading nutrition and ingredient labels. Every day, supermarket shelves are filled with new convenience products that seem to be low-carb and scream keto-friendly, low-carb at us. With a low net carb count splashed across the front, it is easy to be fooled by marketing and cleverly worded packaging. Be a label detective. First and foremost, food companies don't care about your health. They care about selling more and more processed foods. I'm going to go through a few very well-known low-carb products to show how to critically assess their ingredient and nutrition labels. The first one is Atkins peanut butter cups. You can see that across the front of the package it says 1 net carb. And then when you turn it over, you see that the serving size is one very small candy. There are 20 servings in the box, and each serving has 9 grams of total carbs per piece. So the ingredients to avoid in this product are maltitol and polydextrose. The next one is Mission Zero Net Carb tortillas. You can see that there's 14 grams of total carbs, not the zero carbs that's splashed all across the front. Yes, and we're going to go into it in a little bit about how the companies calculate net versus total carbs. But the front of the package says zero net carbs, and when you turn it over, the product itself has 14 grams of total carbs. The ingredient list is starts with modified food starch, wheat gluten, vital wheat gluten, pea protein, soybean, and sunflower oil, all both seed oils that you want to avoid. The next one is Fiber One protein bars. You can see that the front of the package in big bold letters says 5 net carbs. But when you turn it over, the back of the package shows there's 16 grams of total carbs, and the ingredients list but you want to avoid is chicory root extract, soluble corn fiber, rice flour, invert sugar, corn syrup, rice starch, cornstarch, canola oil, sugar, barley malt extract. I'm going to compare a couple of well-known products to show you the vast differences in some of the products that are commonly found on the market. On the front of the box of cauliflower pizza crust, it says made with real cauliflower as the first ingredient and advertises that it's dairy and gluten-free. But when you turn it over, you find out that it also has brown rice flour, cornstarch, tapioca, and sugar. There's 28 grams of total carbohydrates in 1/3 of a very modestly sized pizza crust. And then sunflower oil is a seed oil commonly found in processed food that can cause blood sugar fluctuations, is also on the ingredient list. 1/3 of this modestly sized crust contains nearly a full day's allotment of carbs. So even though it is made with cauliflower, that does not mean that it's necessarily healthy for you. As opposed to this product, which is, as I've been told, is no longer available on the market, but there are others similar to it. This has no hidden sugars, starches, or grains. It's a small list of well-known, commonly found ingredients like cauliflower, mozzarella cheese, salt, etc. It has 3 grams versus 28 grams of carbs for the same exact size crust. And many low-carb consumers choose cauliflower crust because they believe them to be a good bread-like option, and they don't turn over the package to check the ingredients and nutrition information. Not all cauliflower products are created equal, and not all cauliflower products are healthy. Next, I'm going to compare 3 different kinds of keto low-carb breads. In this product, the Thin Slim Zero Net Carb bread, if you turn it over, well, the front of the package and the name of the product itself says zero net carbs, and yet when you turn it over, their ingredient list shows wheat protein isolate, vital wheat gluten, oat fiber, chicory root. They're all grain sources with very high glycemic indicators. And zero net carbs is not so zero when you look at the total carbs. We'll talk about the reasons why net carbs are problematic in a bit, but while the total carb counts are all manageable on a limited basis, they're also likely to cause blood sugar fluctuations, especially in those with diabetes or insulin resistance. This product, the Arnold's Keto bread has 11 carbs per slice, and just as a frame of reference, in regular old Wonder Bread, there's 15 grams of carbs. But the other ingredients on this product are soybean oil, similar to sunflower, safflower, corn, vegetable, and grapeseed oil. They're all highly processed and have been shown to cause blood sugar fluctuations. The total carbs in all of these breads are similar if within range to be consumed on a low carb or ketogenic approach, but what is inside makes all the difference in terms of health and our body's response to eating them. As an aside, this product has arrowroot flour. It's a gluten and grain-free powder used as a thickening agent. But you can see this product also has the same amount of carbs, but the list of ingredients is short and well-known, commonly found items. The next product I'm going to talk about is low-carb pancakes. You can see on the front of this package, it says keto, and then 1 net carb, gluten-free, high fiber, but also when you turn it over, it's 20 grams of carbs, pea protein, sugarcane fiber, and tapioca starch, all things that are definitively not keto. This product is called a carb-conscious pancake mix. It has only 4 net carbs, according to the front of the package, no sugar added, but also the ingredients list is vital wheat gluten, chickpea flour, soluble corn fiber, sunflower oil, and sugarcane fiber. This product is marketed to keto and low-carb customers, and yet the total carb count for just a third of a cup of the mix is around half of our daily allotment on a ketogenic diet. And you compare that to the Rosette's pancake and waffle mix batter with a short list of easily recognizable ingredients. There's 11 grams of total carbs, which is less than the other two options, which were 20 and 15 grams. But there's a huge disparity in ingredient quality from the other two products. This is a product that it says it's healthy right on the package. Heart healthy oats, gluten-free. It's advertising as high fiber, no sugar added. And this was the result of Dr. Laura's CGM when she tested those heart healthy oat bites. You can see that she thought she was eating something healthy, and this is what her blood sugar looked like after eating it. So a few key takeaways. Turn over every package and read both the nutrition information and the ingredient list. Ingredients are as important as the carb counts. Sticking with cleaner ingredients will enable your body to heal without derailing your health and your weight loss goals. If it fits your macros, also known as dirty or lazy keto. If it fits your macros is a variation of a ketogenic diet that allows you to eat whatever you want as long as it fits into your daily macronutrient goals. As I mentioned, it's also known as dirty keto or lazy keto. So, what are the benefits of if it fits your macros? It's flexible. It's an effective strategy during holidays, vacations, and special events because all foods are allowed. And what are the drawbacks of if it fits your macros? All foods are allowed. It requires you to track, weigh, and measure, which some people really do not like and gives people some PTSD from years of Weight Watchers. And it does not look at food quality. It does not pay attention to the nutritional value of foods or the amount of fats and protein consumed. It's very easy to undereat protein and real foods, and it's very easy to overeat fat and hidden carbs. It frequently leads to an over-reliance on the hyperpalatable processed foods with a long list of ingredients, which may, in fact, stoke hunger and increase cravings and overeating. We're going to talk a little bit about net versus total carbs now so that you can understand exactly what you're up against in that arena. Net carbs are the total carbs minus fiber and minus sugar alcohols. By abusing the principles of net carbs, manufacturers boast a low calculated net count by adding in extra fiber to bring the net carb count down. The body responds to the net carb count of these highly processed foods very differently than it does, for instance, to vegetables with their naturally occurring fibers. If it seems too good to be true, it's likely that it's too good to be true. The idea of net carbs assumes that food has little impact on your blood sugar, but your body may respond differently and individual mileage may vary. While these may be very low in net carbs, our body, as I mentioned, will process these foods very differently than the carbs in whole grain, leafy vegetables, and other whole foods. Our brain will respond very differently to vegetables than to a highly palatable low carb cookie. Net carbs are an idea promoted by food manufacturers to get us to buy and eat lots of low carb processed foods like breads and candy bars. By counting total carbs, you will be taking a much more honest approach to your diet. If you're counting net carbs and go over your allotment for the day, you might be in actuality consuming a few hundred carbs. But net carbs, new math will tell you you're much nearer to where you want to be. But if you're counting total carbs and go over, you will come closer to understanding where you're really at and less likely to encounter weight loss stalls due to carb creep. Always count total carbs with the priority being real whole foods. Low carb replacement foods are not necessarily weight loss tools. They're part of a good, better, or best strategy for sustainably living low carb in the real world. What is a good solution to a challenging situation? What is a better idea? And what is the best case scenario? Consider using low-carb processed foods in the same way you use a spare tire. You don't use your spare tire every day, only as needed, and it does not replace your sturdier, regular tires or satiating food, but is a temporary solution to get you through a difficult time. Knowledge is power. So if you are struggling to lose those last few pounds, and despite doing everything right, you're frustrated by the scale not moving, or if you want to improve your metabolic health and understand how certain foods impact you, or you're dealing with obesity, diabetes, or other metabolic health conditions and want to know if that food is really healthy, arm yourself with information and look deeper at the foods you're regularly consuming to see if your body and your brain are being hijacked by hidden ingredients.